You've saved for months. You've planned every excursion. You step into your cabin, toss your bags on the bed, and think you've got this whole cruise thing figured out. You don't. Most cruisers are unknowingly sabotaging their own vacation the moment they walk through that cabin door. And some of these mistakes, they're not just inconvenient, they're genuinely gross. Here are the cabin mistakes you're probably making right now. Mistake number 1. Trusting the clean room on embarkation day. Let's start with a harsh truth that the cruise industry doesn't exactly advertise to potential customers. When you board on embarkation day and walk into your cabin, that room was occupied by someone else just hours ago, sometimes mere minutes ago. The turnaround on cruise ships is absolutely brutal. Thousands of passengers disembarking in the morning, thousands more boarding by early afternoon. Your cabin steward isn't given days to prepare your room. They're not even given hours in many cases. They're given minutes. Now, does that mean that your room is filthy? Not necessarily. The sheets are fresh. The bathroom has been wiped down. The floors have been vacuumed. The towels are new. But here's what hasn't happened. A deep sanitization of every surface you're about to touch repeatedly for the next 7 days. Think about it carefully. That TV remote that the last guest handled while eating greasy room service food? A quick wipe at best. The light switches that dozens of hands have touched? Maybe a pass with a cloth. The safe keypad that got punched 100 times with unwashed fingers? Probably not touched at all. The desk surface, chair armrests, nightstand handles, closet door pulls. These high-touch areas get consistently overlooked in the turnaround rush. That phone on the desk you'll use to call room service? When do you think that handset last got properly sanitized? The curtain pulls you'll grab every morning? Now, the cabin steward isn't being lazy. They're being crushed by an impossible timeline. Cruise lines prioritize visible cleanliness, fresh linens, tidy surfaces, that pleasant smell when you walk in. The invisible stuff, the stuff that actually harbors bacteria, that takes time they simply don't have. The solution is embarrassingly simple. Pack a small container of disinfecting wipes in your carry-on bag, not your checked luggage that might not arrive for hours. The moment you enter your cabin, before you touch anything else, wipe down high-touch surfaces, remote controls, door handles, light switches, safe keypad, bathroom faucets, toilet flush lever, phone handsets. Take 3 minutes, maybe 5 if you're thorough. For the rest of your cruise, you're not lying awake wondering what the previous guest left behind on that nightstand. Mistake number 2, ignoring the balcony door lock. If you've booked a balcony cabin, and if you can afford to, you absolutely should because the experience is incomparably better, there's a good chance you're leaving yourself vulnerable every single day without realizing it. Here's the scenario. You wake up on a beautiful sea day wanting fresh ocean air. You slide open that balcony door. The breeze comes in. Perfect. You leave it cracked while getting ready for breakfast. Then rush out for your port excursion because you're running late. Did you lock that balcony door? Most people assume it locks automatically when closed. It doesn't. Or they assume security isn't an issue since you're 7 decks up with only ocean outside. Who's going to break in? A seagull? But balcony doors on cruise ships can often be opened from the outside, intentionally for crew emergency access. If there's a fire or medical emergency and your main cabin door is blocked, crew members need to reach you via the balcony. But it also means that if you leave your door unlocked, someone from an adjacent cabin could potentially access your balcony. Those dividers between balconies? On many ships, they don't extend all the way up. They're meant for visual privacy, not physical security. Someone determined could climb over. There have been documented theft cases where passengers left balcony doors unlocked while at dinner. One particularly notorious case involved a passenger climbing across 3 separate balconies to steal electronics and cash while everyone was at the evening show. Lock your balcony door every time you leave the cabin. Every single time, no exceptions. Treat it exactly like you treat your front door at home. This simple habit takes 1 second and eliminates a real security risk. Mistake number 3, charging everything at the desk. You arrive at your cabin after the chaos of embarkation. You unpack your suitcase. You set up your charging station on the desk. Phone charger, tablet charger, camera battery charger, maybe a portable Bluetooth speaker, a smartwatch dock, your partner's devices too. By the time you're done arranging everything, that desk looks like a small electronics store exploded across it. Then when you try to actually use the desk for something, you can't. There's no room. The one flat surface designed for writing postcards, filling out customs declaration forms, organizing excursion tickets. It's been completely consumed by tangled cables and blinking LED lights. This seems minor until you realize cruise cabins are desperately short on usable flat space. That desk isn't just a desk. It's your command center for the entire voyage. It's where you'll sort through the daily newsletter each morning. It's where you'll organize excursion materials. It's where you'll lay out accessories before dinner. Look around for alternative charging locations. Most modern ships have USB ports in nightstand lamps. Some have outlets near the bathroom mirror. There's usually an unused outlet near the minibar or coffee station. Check behind the TV, near the vanity, even inside the closet. Spread your charging across these locations. Phone on the nightstand where you'll use it as an alarm anyway. Tablet near the coffee station. Now your desk is actually usable for desk things. Now if this is helping, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next cruise mistake. Those first 3 mistakes are annoying, maybe even a little risky with that balcony door. But the next one is the kind that makes you recoil. It involves a harmless cabin amenity that over 80% of passengers use every morning without thinking. Mistake number 4, using the cabin coffee maker. That little coffee machine sitting on your cabin counter looks innocent enough. A small drip machine or pod system, sometimes with complimentary coffee packets and powdered creamer. First morning on the cruise, you stumble out of bed still half asleep. The buffet seems impossibly far away, and that coffee maker is right there within arm's reach. So convenient, so easy. Don't use it. I'm completely serious. This isn't coffee snobbery about quality. Though cruise cabin coffee is objectively terrible even when the coffee machine is clean. This is about what's actually happening inside that machine between guests. And I promise you, it's significantly worse than you're imagining right now. Here's what cruise lines absolutely do not advertise. Cabin coffee makers are almost never deep cleaned. Remember that turnaround we discussed? Your steward has minutes to prepare your room. They're changing sheets, cleaning bathrooms, vacuuming floors, restocking towels, creating those cute towel animals. The coffee maker? If you're lucky, it gets a quick exterior wipe. The water reservoir inside, the internal tubing, the brewing mechanism, not touched. Not between guests, not between voyages. Sometimes not for weeks or months. Now this might not seem like a big deal until you consider what previous guests used that machine for. Coffee, sure, that's the intended purpose, but also instant ramen noodles. Just pour hot water right over the flavor packet. Hot chocolate, cup of soup for a late night snack, oatmeal. Some parents use those in-room coffee makers to heat water for baby bottles and formula. Others have been caught by cabin stewards using the machines to steam clothing, including underwear and socks. I genuinely wish I was making that up. I am not. Cruise ship forums are filled with horror stories from stewards who've walked in on passengers using coffee makers for things that should never involve a coffee maker. These machines are essentially just heating elements and water reservoirs. Passengers use them as general-purpose hot water devices, not dedicated coffee brewers. And because cabin coffee makers rarely reach temperatures high enough to truly sanitize themselves, water needs to hit 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit consistently throughout the system, which cheap machines don't achieve. All that residue from noodle seasoning, formula, and whatever else just accumulates inside. Now consider the environment inside that machine. Warm, wet, dark where no light reaches, left sitting unused for hours or days. And what thrives in warm, wet, dark environments? Bacteria, mold, biofilm. That's the slimy layer of microorganisms that form on surfaces in contact with standing water. Studies of hotel coffee makers, which actually get cleaned more regularly than cruise cabin machines, have found alarming bacteria levels, including coliform bacteria associated with fecal matter. One study found more germs in hotel coffee makers than on bathroom toilet handles. Think about that! The toilet handle was cleaner. Cruise ships, with faster turnarounds and overworked staff handling dozens of cabins daily, aren't doing better. They're doing worse. For morning coffee, head to the buffet. Those machines serve hundreds hourly and are maintained by dedicated staff who actually clean them. Or visit the ship's cafe. That slight inconvenience is infinitely better than thinking about what's been brewing in that reservoir for months. Mistake number 5. Leaving valuables in hidden spots. Many cruisers don't trust the cabin safe. Maybe they couldn't figure out the code on embarkation day, or maybe they think safes are easy to crack. So they hide valuables around the cabin like it's an Easter egg hunt. Passports tucked in the sock drawer under a pile of clothes. Emergency cash folded and hidden under the mattress. Jewelry stuffed inside a shoe on the back corner of the closet. The problem? Cabin stewards have seen every single one of these hiding spots thousands of times. They've been cleaning cabins for years, often decades. The mattress gets lifted during daily cleaning and turn-down service. Drawers get opened when restocking items. Those clever spots aren't clever at all. They're the first places anyone would look. Use the safe. It takes 2 minutes to set a code. Most cruise ship safes are physically bolted to furniture, making them extremely difficult to remove quickly. They're exponentially more secure than the sock drawer. If you absolutely refuse to use the safe despite all logic, at least diversify your hiding strategy. Don't put every valuable item in one single location. Mistake number 6. Never adjusting the ceiling air vents. Those ceiling vents in your cabin? They're adjustable. Almost nobody realizes this, and even fewer people bother to adjust them. Most passengers walk into their cabin, accept whatever climate the room happens to have, and then either freeze miserably all night or wake up sweating through their sheets. They don't look up at the ceiling. They just suffer in silence, assuming this is simply how cruise cabins are. Cruise ships run cold by design. The vessel is calibrating for common areas packed with thousands of bodies generating heat. The main dining room with 1,000 people eating? The theater with 2,000 guests watching a show? Those spaces need aggressive cooling, so the overall climate control skews cold. Your cabin, with 1 or 2 people sleeping quietly, ends up significantly over-air conditioned as a result. Before your first night, examine your ceiling vents. Figure out how they adjust. Point airflow away from the bed. Close them partially if the room feels arctic. This tiny attention to your environment pays off in dramatically better sleep every single night of your cruise. If you want more cruise tips like this, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the ones that save you the most hassle. Because the next mistake happens within the first hour, and it turns your bathroom into a cluttered mess for the rest of the voyage. Mistake number 7. Overwhelming the bathroom counter. Cruise bathrooms are small. Everyone knows this intellectually. Yet, cruisers consistently arrive with massive toiletry bags and dump absolutely everything onto the tiny counter like they're opening a retail pharmacy. The results are predictable. Every single time you brush your teeth, you're physically moving bottles around. Every shower, products get knocked over or splashed with water. The counter becomes genuinely unusable within hours of unpacking. The fix is simple. Use the shower for shower products, the counter for everything else. Most cruise showers have shelving or ledges for shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and razors. Leave them there permanently for the entire voyage. The counter holds only what you actually use at the counter. Toothbrush, toothpaste, skincare products, contact solution, daily medications. Everything else stays in the shower or in your toiletry bag in the closet. Mistake number 8. Treating your cabin steward like furniture. Your cabin steward is genuinely your secret weapon for having a better cruise experience, and the vast majority of passengers treat them like they're invisible background furniture. These people know things that aren't published anywhere. Which main dining room seatings are typically less crowded and rushed? When the best window is to claim pool deck chairs before they all disappear? Cabin features and storage compartments not mentioned in any welcome packet. Shortcuts through the ship to reach popular venues faster. Introduce yourself on day 1. Learn their name and actually use it. Ask questions about the ship and their recommendations. Consider tipping something early in the cruise rather than only at the very end. This signals you appreciate their work now, not as an afterthought when you're about to leave. A steward who knows you're friendly and appreciative will consistently go above and beyond. Ice buckets always filled without asking. Extra towels provided proactively. Useful information about weather affecting your upcoming port stops. Mistake number 9. Leaving the Do Not Disturb sign up all day. Some passengers leave the Do Not Disturb sign hanging on their door constantly, thinking they're being low maintenance or avoiding interruptions while they sleep in. Here's what they're actually doing. Missing your daily cabin service entirely. No fresh towels, no trash removal, no restocked toiletries, no ice bucket refill. By day 3, your cabin smells like a gym locker and looks like a hurricane passed through it. Worse, extended Do Not Disturb can actually trigger welfare checks. Cruise lines have specific protocols. If that sign stays up too long without any activity from your cabin, security might knock anyway or even enter to verify you're okay. You've now created an awkward situation while gaining absolutely nothing. If you want to sleep in, communicate with your steward directly. Tell them a preferred service time. They'll happily work around your schedule. That's literally their job, and they're happy to accommodate reasonable requests. Mistake number 10. Unpacking everything immediately. The instinct on embarkation day is to unpack absolutely everything immediately. Hang every garment in the closet. Fill every available drawer. Make the cabin feel like home. This approach backfires in 2 important ways. First, you don't yet know how you'll actually use the cabin space. That drawer you stuffed with socks might turn out to be the perfect spot for excursion gear you didn't anticipate needing daily access to. Those formal clothes you hung in the most prominent closet position, you might only need them once, and now they're taking prime real estate all week. Second, packing to leave becomes exponentially harder. When everything's scattered across 12 different locations throughout the cabin, you'll spend your final morning on a stressful scavenger hunt instead of enjoying those last vacation hours. Unpack strategically. Keep like items together. Leave things in your suitcase if you won't need them frequently. Your future self will genuinely thank you on disembarkation morning. Mistake number 11. Ignoring the bed configuration. Here's something most first-time cruisers don't realize. Those 2 twin beds in your cabin can almost always be pushed together to form a king-sized bed. And the reverse is equally true. That king bed you see when you walk in is probably just 2 twin beds held together by a connecting frame. If you're traveling with someone you'd rather not share sleeping space with, a friend, a family member, or a co-worker at a conference, you can easily request separation. The problem is that passengers simply don't ask. They see the bed configuration on arrival and assume it's permanently fixed that way. It isn't. Your steward can change it, usually within just a few minutes. On embarkation day, if the bed setup doesn't work for your situation, say something immediately. Don't suffer through 7 uncomfortable nights when the fix was just a simple request away. Mistake number 12. Not knowing your own cabin number. Now this sounds absolutely ridiculous until you've had 3 frozen cocktails on the pool deck in the Caribbean sun and then tried to find your way back to your room. Cruise ships are enormous. The passenger corridor hallways are extraordinarily long and almost perfectly identical in appearance. Every single cabin door looks exactly like every other door. The carpet pattern repeats endlessly. After a few days of constant activity, new experiences, and perhaps some alcohol, your brain genuinely stops paying close attention to these repetitive environment details. This matters especially for older passengers or anyone traveling with medication they need regular access to. Getting turned around on deck 7 and wandering the wrong corridor for 15 confused minutes is embarrassing and wastes vacation time. Getting genuinely stuck on the wrong deck when you need time-sensitive medication is potentially dangerous. Write down your cabin number somewhere accessible. Put it in your phone's notes. Put it in your wallet. If traveling with children old enough to potentially get separated, make absolutely certain they've memorized it before the ship leaves port. Know your number, always. Your cabin is your home base for the entire voyage. Treat it that way. Most of these mistakes come from autopilot. Walking in, accepting defaults, never questioning the little things. Break that habit. Spend 5 minutes optimizing your space. Skip the sketchy coffee maker. Wipe down your surfaces. Talk to your steward. Do it right, and that tiny floating room becomes a genuine sanctuary. Now, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and watch the next video. Your voyage is just beginning.